fact that Joe Biden is not on the top of the Democratic ticket is because of our movement. It's because of the work of Code Pink and many other organizations that are out here. The fact that Kamala is not presiding over Netanyahu's speech is also because of our movement. There are so many little things that are happening, the progress that we are seeing in this country, and we know we have much more work to do. I am under no illusion that we're about to free Palestine tomorrow. But this progress is because of you. Your work is not in vain. Stay outside.
That was Women's March founder and Hamas sympathizer, Linda Sarsour. And you heard her correctly. Linda and her far-left, pro-Hamas, anti-American agitators at Code Pink and were on the streets burning D.C. down this week. They're taking credit for Biden getting the door. Is it because they found the perfect vehicle for their warped version of hope and change in Kamala Harris? Joining us now is Jim Pfaff from the Conservative Caucus. Jim, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Chanel.
Jim, do you believe President Biden was shoved aside when he was deemed no longer useful by these far-left activists?
Yeah, make no doubt about it. There's nothing that we can interpret this other than he was low in the polls. They knew there was a threat of him losing and losing big. It had nothing to do with his mental capability. If he was doing well in the polls, as he did in 2020 with mental capacity issues, they would have just carried on with him. But they realized that Donald Trump was gaining big on Biden, that the debate had been a massive failure. And they figured, hey, we got to dump him out in some way. And that's exactly what they did. And they're going to pay a price for it. They've made their bed. They're going to have to lie in it. We'll see how that works out. But here we go.
I wanted to raise this with you because you're on the conservative grassroots, activist side, kind of the opposite end of folks like Linda Sarsour. And on the state level, there's a really interesting story that's bubbling, and it potentially could be a huge problem for the DNC, or maybe it may be a nothing burger, but they cannot take Biden off the ballot in 2 states unless he is taken out by the 25th Amendment or he dies. And I don't see how the DNC is going to get around that by simply installing Kamala Harris on the ballot. What is your take on how those states are going to handle this?
If we were operating under the strict rule of law in this country, as best as human institutions can, with a desired purpose for a good outcome, he wouldn't be able to get off the ballot in those 2 states. I look for somebody to talk about the rights of the voters and all this sort of thing that they'll bring up, which are really fake because the Democrats are removing the so-called Democrat process to inject a new candidate in Kamala Harris because they knew they were going to lose after Democrat voters went to the polls during the primary season. This should be a challenge. I'm modestly hopeful that the Republican National Committee and some other groups are going to get involved in this and aggressively say in the courts, you cannot make this change and violate the rules of those states. We did this in 2020, where Pennsylvania and Georgia and some other states changed their election rules when Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the Constitution says only the legislature can do it. Look for courts to try to bypass the legislature again and allow this change. But hopefully, this will be asserted properly in a legal construct and, we'll get the rule of law asserted. The Democrats have put themselves in this situation. We need to make sure that they can't bypass the legal standard to get their way here.
Yeah, I think that Speaker Johnson tossed out this, or at least proposed this idea that the Republicans could potentially litigate the technicals, if you will, of removing Biden from the ballot and replacing Kamala. But at this point, it just seems that states are going to just have to bypass their own laws and make exceptions because this is just such an unprecedented situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to try to do. The precedent over the last 5, 6, 7 years, really ever since Donald Trump went down the escalator in 2015, has been to undermine democratic institutions that were founded in our constitutional republic, laid out clearly in our Constitution. I mean, it's unambiguous language. and state laws are unambiguous as well. They want to bypass all this so that they can gain political advantage. It's why they've had to work so hard to smear Donald Trump and make him out to be some fascist white supremacist threat to freedom. And it's all wrong. It's all lies. Let's see if they're successful at it. We got to shut them down.
Well, we'll see if they're successful in those efforts. Jim Pfaff from the Conservative Caucus, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Chanel.
From secret meetings to untold events or just straight up bizarre occurrences, it's Friday. So some of what comes out of the White House leaves many wondering what really goes on behind closed doors. For the final point, we turn to one of America's chief White House correspondent, Monica Page, with the White House Exposed.
Although he gave us his word as a Biden.
But are you being honest with yourself as well about your ability to defeat Donald Trump right now?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I am not going anywhere. I wouldn't be running if I didn't absolutely believe that I am the best candidate to beat Donald Trump in 2024. I am running, and we're going to win.
It seems Joe Biden has completely flipped the script on the American people and his loyal Democrat voters who wanted to see him run against President Trump.
My vision for America's future all merited a second term, but nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. It's the best way to unite our nation.
Biden made an unexpected decision last Sunday evening that left many scratching their heads, and his remarks this past week left many with more questions than answers, still not giving a direct reason as to why he made the decision to not seek re-election. Just days before allegedly coming down with COVID, we heard the president doubling down on his commitment to run again, insisting that he would be the candidate. So what changed? The White House couldn't tell us why.
He didn't step down from campaigning or from running because he didn't believe he can serve in a second term.
And even though top Democrats expressed concerns over Biden's apparent mental decline, the White House still insists that it's not because of his health.
Does it have to do with his health, or
it does not have to do, they have nothing to do with his health.
Many suspect Biden keeled to the pressure behind closed doors, where dozens of top Democrats publicly and privately urged Biden to step down from his 2024 re-election. Even one of his top supporters, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, reportedly betrayed Biden. According to Politico, she told him, quote, "We can do this the easy way or the hard way, and we've given you the easy way for 3 weeks." Did Biden come to a drastic revelation while hunkering down in Delaware that he should pass the torch? Or was it something else? Many suspect former President Obama's influence may have been a stab in the back for Biden, and Obama's recent endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris only add to those speculations.
We called to say Michelle and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
But Biden's abrupt exit from the race could be a shot at his fellow Democrats, sending the message, if you don't want me and you don't trust that I'm the right guy for the job, then you can deal with Kamala Harris as the candidate. For context, President Trump leads Kamala Harris in nearly every poll, like the New York Times, and an aggregate of national polls. And many Americans, especially Californians, remember Kamala's legacy as a prosecutor and senator.
you're considered the most liberal United States senator.
Somebody said that, and it actually was Mike Pence on the debate stage, but...
Yeah. Well, actually, the nonpartisan GovTrack has rated you as the most liberal senator.
In the meantime, it seems the Democrats are likely stuck with border czar Kamala Harris.
We are here today to throw our support behind Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm clapping. You don't have to.
And only time will tell how that will play out for them. Monica Page, One American News, the White House.
Boy, last few weeks in politics have been more riveting than any Netflix TV show I've seen in a while. It's time now for Mark My Words, and we leave you with a preview of a possible alternate with President Harris.
And think about everything that we see and that we haven't seen yet in order to reside and live in those states. But the question stands. Who will unite these United States? Oh, I'm good. Yeah, I'm gonna win.
Time will tell. Submit your predictions and insights into Mark My Words at OANN.com. And if you haven't already, download the OAN Live app on your TV and your favorite streaming devices. Spread the word. I leave you with this. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you pales in comparison to what lies inside of you.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.